Central now continues in Central Africa. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has dropped all charges against Maxime Macon, who has been in the court's custody since March last year. He was accused of several crimes, including directing attacks against civilians, murder and rape, while being part of the anti-Balaka militant movement in the Central African Republic between 2013 and 2014. He had denied the charges and said he joined the group for the sake of peace and not war. According to the International Criminal Court, the violence by the anti-Balaka and rival mainly Muslim Salaka militia in the CAR left thousands dead and more than 100,000 displaced. Staying in Central Africa, Gabon's military leader, General Brice Oligui Nguema, has announced he has given up his presidential salary and will only receive a wage as commander of the Republican Guard. Wednesday night's announcement was made by the Junta's spokesperson, Ulrich Manfumbi, who said General Nguema took the decision due to social emergencies and expectations from the Gabonese people. Nguema also plans to reduce public spending, including lawmaker allowances, political funds, and session allowances to restore public confidence in the country's leadership. The presidency said this would consolidate the state's funds. Joining me live on the news to discuss this is Achike Chude, a global affairs analyst. One welcome to you, Achike, and thanks for joining us on the news.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Gbenga.
Now, Achike, what are your initial thoughts on this move, and what are the potential motivations behind General Brice Oligui Nguema's decision to forgo his salary, and how might this impact the political dynamics in Gabon? Is this just a good soundbite, and how much of an effect would it have on the economy in general?
Well, you know, I cannot say for sure what the motivation is of the military ruler in Gabon. But you know, in Nigeria, we have an expression, IGG, initial gragra.
Yes.
Now, it could be a flash in the pan. It could be something that you have insinuated, something, just to entice the public, get them interested, and, get them more on the side of the military junta. Because obviously what the junta is doing, what the leader has, or the military leader has announced, obviously is something that will go down well with the citizens in a country that has seen so much corruption and little progress, especially, in terms of the welfare of the people of Gabon, essentially as a result of the massive corruption being perpetrated by the political elites. So this is something that I think will be acceptable, but whether it is something that can be backed up by facts, by other things, other dynamics within the system is something that only time will tell. But it is a good move, at least on the surface. It is a good thing, seeing that Africa's political leadership, Africa's political elites have this tendency to always ask the people to make sacrifices when the going is tough. And then they never lift a finger to make a sacrifice by themselves. They will buy themselves new vehicles. They will get themselves into new homes, all paid from the public treasury. And so it's a good thing that the man hopefully will send a message to other people, especially his subordinates down the line. And I think this is one way to start with. You start with yourself. When you're asking people to do something and to make sacrifices, let them see that you're making the sacrifice yourself. That is what will, ensure that the people might actually follow your example. And so it's a very good thing, and it has implications, obviously, for not just for the political life of Gabon, if it can be sustained and if it can go down the line. But also it could also have a way of affecting the economy positively, because now more money can be saved if they are prudent enough and used for the welfare of the people and of the state.
Now, Achike, Gabon is a major oil producer, one of the top oil producers in Africa, and with a relatively small population. So I don't think they're in financial dire straits. But how does this move reflect on the economic and financial conditions of Gabon? and as it's seen as an effort to address fiscal challenges and discipline, or send a specific message to the public? Because it's not the only one that has taken a pay cut. They're also looking at reducing the general cost of governance.
Yeah, well, obviously, like I said, it sends a good signal to the citizens that perhaps this government, this administration might be the real deal. Of course, don't forget the immediate past or the past of the military junta. He has been part of the ruling cabal in Gabon all this while. Now, whether he has been able to purge himself of the influence or the negative influence of the outgone government is a different thing, but it is by their fruits, as they say, that you shall know them. But obviously, it is going to trickle down to other aspects of Gabonese life. If, like I said, if people can begin to see that they can actually emulate the examples of the political leaders at the moment. But beyond that is the fact that Gabon is in much need of a financial prudence or fiscal prudence with regards to that. I mean, to that country. It is a country that is racked with so much poverty. A country that has very serious unemployment issue. The vast majority of youths do not have meaningful employment in Gabon, and there is frustration. Industrialization is not something that you can actually write home about. And then, of course, the issue of debt. And there is for a country that is relatively small in terms of the size and population, it is also racked with debt. So these are the issues, that the new administration will have to grapple with, and it will need some level of financial prudence. It will need, the political elites, the civil society, the churches, everybody coming together to collaborate for the progress of Gabon. So the days of ostentation living are gone. And this is the time for prudence and for commitment to the country. And that's the only way they can get out of the quagmire.
Now, Achike, it's been less than 100 days since the junta of General Gbenga came into power in Gabon. And we've seen mixed reactions. Why does this coup seem to be acceptable to the West and others? And the coups, and also similar to the coup in Chad, which was widely acceptable by France, and even the French ambassador attended General Gbenga's inauguration. Why are there good coups and bad coups as compared to Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali? Do you see a contradiction or some type of hypocrisy from the West not taking a decision and sticking with it?
Yeah, Gbenga, I'm sure you know that there are no good coups and bad coups. A coup, every coup is an aberration to democracy. But I think I get your examples. Obviously, it would appear that what is happening in Gabon is much more acceptable than what we are seeing in other parts of the continent, especially in West Africa. Obviously, the coup in West Africa came with a lot of bad blood. With so much accusation against the West, especially France, for the exploitation, the marginalization of the people of those countries. I'm talking about Niger, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and then, of course, the general anti-Western imperialist rhetorics, perhaps as a result of their closeness to Russia. Russia, that is a geopolitical rival to the West, especially to the United States. And so when you now have a coup, for instance, taking place in Gabon, that is not in any way, that does not in any way endanger or promise to endanger the interest or the relationship that that country has with countries like former colonial overlord France and other Western countries. Obviously, it is the kind of coup that will be looked upon with more favorability. And that is what is happening. And that's why the sanctions, and then the rhetorics, anti-regime rhetorics that we saw in West Africa is absent in Gabon. And I think the Gabonese leader, perhaps kudos to him that he has been able to also maneuver the situation very well. But at the same time, he should be careful of countries like France, because the misgovernance of Gabon has gone on for years, for decades, with France looking the other way. And so there's no way you can exonerate France from some of the malaise that's going on in countries that they once governed as a colonial overlord. But like you said, I mean, there's no good coup, there's no bad coup, but there are coups that are a bit more acceptable, especially when you take it, into consideration the underlying factors and the reasons for the coup and the aftermath of the coup, how they engage with international partners. So I think that the regime is.
Thank you very much, Achike Chude. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for your insights.
Thank you.